So, I have an interesting upkeep for you. So, at the beginning of the upkeep, Pillar of the Sleepless activates, right? And it has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life, but that goes on the stack. That's an effect that goes on the stack because it's triggered by the phase changing of the game. So when Pillory of the Sleepless goes on the stack, I also am going to put the Wild Cantor on the stack, and the cost of putting the Wild Cantor on the stack is I have to sacrifice it. So now Pillory of the Sleepless no longer has a creature to equip to, and then when it resolves and checks to see if it's still legally in play, the game will determine that it is not legally in play. It has no effect. I do have at this moment a mana in my mana pool, so I'm going to pay that floating mana to trigger the Gruul Signet so I have a total of 2, and then pay a third so I can turn my Warplow into a Juggernaut.
Turning the Warplow into a creature is a sorcery.
It is
not. Okay, I thought it was a sorcery. My bad.
Aha! Means I am on top now. Oh, please give me something good for the draw. This is my last chance. Yeah. Forest. Okay. Alright, I'm going to swing into you for 4 with trample.
In response, I'm going to tap 4 using Plains, Orzhov Signet, Swamp, and a Plains to cast Seize the Soul.
Yeah, it's a new card. Destroy target non-white, non-black creature. Put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying into play with Haunt. When the creature sees the soul haunts is put into a graveyard, destroy target. Not Jesus Christ.
It's a.
Yeah, I really overlooked how powerful Orzhov is in this set. That's gonna kill me, dude. That's gonna kill me because I have no creatures. You have 4 damage on the board. And I reckon you have a lot of ways to, do you have any abilities that have, like, let me see this, when it attacks. So you only have 1 creature in your graveyard right now, but do I have anything that you can exploit in order to turn this into a deadlock?
I mean, I can grab your Candor.
Right. Okay, so looks like you're going to have to do something else in order to lock this for yourself. Yeah. Oh, so you're haunting the Orzhov Pontiff with Seize the Soul? Okay. All right. So I have no creatures. I have no artifacts. I no longer have Trample. One flaw that I noticed with this deck is that I put way too much mana into this deck, man. I put way too much mana.
During my upkeep.
And at this point, I'm just glad that it didn't come down to, oh, I discarded the wrong card. No, I won because Gerdat's deck is more powerful than mine.
Okay, I'm going to grab the Petrified Woodkin.
Alright. And when Petrified Woodkin enters the battlefield, he does not gain X +1/+1 counters because you did not deal damage to me. And it has protection from instants.
Okay, I'm going to put down a Swamp, and I'm going to spend 2 in order to cast a Morning Thrall.
I see.
Okay.
But you can't kill me this turn.
Although I can't actually kill you this turn, I can get you very close. So, I'm going to swing for 4 in total, 3 in the air.
Alright, I declare no blockers.
Okay. Deal 4 damage.
Alright. 4 damage.
Okay, and I think I can do Orzhov, right? Because I need...
yes, because you have Signet on the board.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Tap Orzhov in order to drain you for 1.
Draining 1.
Yay! Alright, I will end.
Because Orzhov does that. It typically doesn't just hit your opponent's life points. It usually improves your own life points at the same time.
They very specifically are a draining blood bank. That is what they do.
Son of a bitch. All right. So now I gotta start doing stupid crap in order to keep this up. Okay. So I have to. This is the only thing I can do because this is the card that I drew. All right. Paying 3. I'm gonna cast Wild Size. But I can target creatures that I do not necessarily control. I just want to draw cards at this
Get
point.
my Morning Thrall.
Your 1/1 spirit,
Oh.
your 1/1 spirit token now gets +2/+2 and trample until end of turn, and I draw a card. Okay, and for my last trick, I'm going to return this force in my hand so I can play a Gruul Turf, and I'm going to go cry about it.
All right.
That's been a consistent problem for each of these 4 games. Mana Flood, Mana Flood, Mana Flood,
Right,
Mana
so,
Flood.
during the upkeep, I'm going to bring back my Smog Steel Rider. Alright, so, I'm going to spend 3 in order to cast Mortify on your Gruul Signet. On your, I can't hit your Gruul Signet, okay?
Because I don't have any creatures or enchantments. So you can take that back, sir, because you don't have any legal targets. Because in Magic the Gathering, you can't cast spells or activate abilities if they cannot possibly resolve correctly.
Okay, I guess I'll kill my Spirit Token then.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
Well, don't you want to kill one of your... don't you want to kill the Pontiff so you can get some
But that's the thing. In order to actually resolve Seeds of the Soul, I'd have to kill something else, and I don't have another. I don't have another thing I can kill.
First world problem.
So, I'm gonna swing at you for what's Woodkin again? He's a 3. So, 3 in the air and 4 on the ground.
3 in the air and 4 on the ground. So the 3 is going to kill me, and the 4 is going to also kill me. Okay.
Woot!
And that's the game. Gerdat has won everything except for 1 game. Concession. So it just goes to show everyone how some sound deck strategy can either work for you or it can work against you.
Lance I am actually running 4 of, but Thrall I'm only running 3 of. So there is a card. There is a card in here that I did not get to show off that really does exemplify what Orzhov is as a bank. Ahem. Behold the Spell-Tithe Enforcer. It's a Rhystic Study with feet.
3/3. It's an Elephant Wizard. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, that player sacrifices a permanent unless they play... Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a Rhystic Study except with feet.
Yeah, dude, the control in black and white is obnoxious in this set. Holy crap.
Ooh, Savage Twister. But to damage
I
each
got a few
creature,
cards
though, and this is one of the big problems.
You're not the only one who got denied.
This is one of the big
Sword of
problems
the
that
Parents?
Gruul has always suffered with, especially early on. Gruul wants everything to be fighting constantly. But the thing is, their early game minions are way too goddamn small. They need... it's why I was really hoping that you would actually show off Bloodthirst, because Bloodthirst is one of the better keywords that Gruul gets access to. But they need something else to trigger it, and the red side of the deck can do it, but not in limited, admittedly, because I don't think we've got Shock or Bolt. I don't even think we have Lightning Strike, actually. So it's really difficult to actually, deal indirect damage in order to actually do a Bloodthirst. And Bloodthirst on bigger monsters is fucking absurdly powerful. Like, one of my favorite monsters from Theros is the Gornhorn Minotaur, which has got Bloodthirst 3. So, if you manage to trigger it, it comes out as a fucking 6/6. It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Mind you, I really like this Wormweave Coil. I mean, it's too expensive for what it does, but... getting a 6/6 green worm token would have been nice too.
No, I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. Saying, "Oh, gee, I wish I worked on my early game a little bit more." It's just this set also was preoccupied with high drop cards. Borborygmos, Wormweaver Coil. They wanted me to use Predatory Focus, not so I can, have one creature fail to hit my opponent, but have all my creatures fail to hit my opponent, even though they can deal damage even if they're blocked. Unless the creatures blocking them have first strike, because silly me, I forgot. Creatures can get denied a chance to deliver their damage if they die during the first strike combat step. Yeah.
What do you think about Sword of Parents?
That it's It's a pretty good card because it affects every creature you control, not just the equipped one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it says it affect as long as equipped creature is tapped. All tapped creatures you control get +2/+0. As long as equipped creature is untapped creatures you control get +0/+2. And then you can
pay 3 in order to get
you can
restands,
toggle,
which is nice.
Right. You can toggle whether it's tapped or untapped just by paying another 3. So Sword of the Parents, although expensive, definitely supposed to be used in like aggro, like white assault, basically, where you got a bunch of white weenies, basically. That's where Sword of the Parents would really shine as a card. Other than that, this is a matter of just this was a race to the finish line, and you had way better running shoes than I did.
It's a problem that Gruul struggles with for a lot of his early sets. To be perfectly honest, even when they switched over from Gruul over into the Devour stuff. The Devour stuff is really nice as a top end, but it's actually pretty poor early on, unless you're actually doing the Devour Commander stuff, and even then, that's more steroid for aristocrats than it's supposed to be for Gruul.
Right. That it wants you to have a board to feed to your more powerful creatures, but if you don't get that board, then all you're doing is just cannibalizing your own forces to the point you can't even defend yourself.
I honestly really like the theming that Gruul has, pretty much for its entire lifespan, but it doesn't actually have the power level that it really wants. Like, you're running this Rumbling Slum, and it's actually a really well-costed critter, and it's a 5/5, and it even has a somewhat positive effect if you've got the aggro stuff already rolling. But if you don't have the aggro stuff already rolling, or if your opponent has got the ability to either shut it down or just stall it out indefinitely, you're just draining yourself, and you're just draining yourself usually with it.
Right.
This was honestly a really fun match. I do think.
Yeah, I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
I do think that Orzhov, with the combination of Morning Thrall and Shadowlance specifically, is extremely above curve for this point in Magic's history. At the same point, though, most of the rest of the stuff that's available here is trying to be the other big clan that we're not actually exploring all that much is it, and is it Spellslingers isn't really fully isn't all fully there yet. It knows what it wants to do. It wants to cast a bunch of spells and then copy those spells to cast them again. But I don't think that they've got the Storm keyword yet. And without the Storm keyword...
No, they use Replicate.
Yeah, they're using
Replicate in Guildpact. So Replicate just means every time you pay the Replicate cost, you can copy the spell and then choose new targets for the copy, which is cool, but it's expensive. Yes. That's why Storm is way better, because you're already paying mana to get spells, and then every time you pay mana to play another spell, you get another instance of the Storm ability. No Storm here, though. Yeah. Nope. This is really this is a bunch of little children firing spitwads at each other with drinking straws.
I like the set, to be perfectly honest. I do think that the power level of our clans is drastically uneven, but it's still fun to play with. Shadowlance is honestly a card that I think would actually do really well in Orzhov Commander decks, but you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Are there any standout cards from your deck that you want to highlight, Mr. Cloud?
I mean, I played just about all of them. I mean, I suppose one thing I noticed was, I wish I had more cards that let me draw, and I wish I had more cards that had activated abilities to let me sink this preposterous abundance of mana that I have. Sadly, neither of those worked. Okay. I'm glad I got to play Borborygmos, because that was the only time I drew him. It was the only time I played him, and you know what? He won me the game. And I'll be satisfied with that at least I did some things right with this deck. But clearly some strategy was required in the deck building department. 24 lands and 4 mana rocks.
Alright, everyone. This has been us exploring Guildpact. Next time, it's my turn to pick out the next thing that we're doing. We'll probably do a more modern set. I'm not entirely sure what yet. Maybe we'll go and do the... Well, I know we're not doing Aether Drift next, because Aether Drift is far too fucking new, but... actually, Cloud, when did Outlaws of Thunder Junction come out? Is that a full year old yet?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't hear about that one.
Okay. So anyway, it's my turn to pick out the next set. Thanks for watching, everybody, and be safe.
Take care, everyone, and thank you.